Hey guys, what's up? It's Paul Bergeron. Today we're going to be doing a review of the CRF150R. This particular one is a 2008. Pretty much all stock except for kickstand and some power mat handguards. Basic specs: 149cc, 4-stroke, unicam, liquid cooled. 4 valves, carbureted motor. It's a race motor. You can tell because it's an R model, not an F. There's a big difference between the R and the F. But let's start up front. This is a 17-inch front wheel. Sitting on, it's a 7117 sitting on Dunlop Sports K 4900 or 490. I just got some stickers pretty much. These are Showa forks. Don't know the specs on them, but they seem to do pretty well. They work good for track and trail, which is nice. Disc brakes, hydraulic, of course. Gotta stop. Comes with Renthal handlebars, whatever, half waffle grips, CDI box, nothing special there. Radiators, which are nice on a small bike like this, so it doesn't overheat. I've never had this bike overheat on me. Unicam motor puts out about 25 horsepower. I don't know what kind of carb that is. I don't know, it might be I think it's a Kind carburetor. Rear shock, which seems to be, I'm pretty sure it's stock, but it squats down a bit when I'm on it, and I'm only about 100 pounds, 105 pounds. Let's see, what else? Stock exhaust, which is actually loud. It's not really an exhaust for the trails, but no one's really gonna bust you for that. Has a 1.11 gallon fuel tank. It's got a 5-speed gearbox with a wet clutch, of course. The air box is a O-ring chain. I don't know what size sprocket that is. It's a 50 tooth in the rear and a whatever stock is from. This is an aftermarket rear tire. Previous person put on is a MX52. Stock size is a 90-114. Doesn't grip well. This bike will spin the tire to 4th gear, but if you just lean back, it'll power wheelie in every gear. Hydraulic rear brakes. These are not stock. I put these stickers on. Stickers, you know. This bike is a kickstart. It's got 11.7 to 1 compression, which is of course, the loud guy with the Harley, or the guy with the loud Harley. Jeez, that backfire sounds like a gunshot. This has about as much compression as a Suzuki RMX 450Z, which is their enduro bike. It's kind of like a WR 450F. I think this bike red lines at about 13,000. I'm not quite sure, but this bike will rev high. It's pretty much a smaller scaled down 250, but I mean, this bike will get off the line better than a 250. It's extremely quick. Top speed, I think I've hit the rev limiter in 5th gear before. I don't know what the top speed quite is. I think it's somewhere around 60 to 65. I think it's more though. But it gets there quick, it hauls ass. Up until then it'll keep up with a 450 or 250 four-stroke. Show rear shock, I think I already said that. Now, whenever you want to start this bike cold, you give it 2 pumps of gas. This is stock jetting too. 2 pumps of gas, and then a teensy bit of throttle and kick it in, like that much. And then it'll fire right up, fires up first kick for me every single time. Because it has an accelerator pump in the carburetor, which is fuel injected to have a fuel pump, but carburetor bike has an accelerator pump. Whenever it's hot, you got your hot start lever, which allows a lot more fuel into the carburetor when it's hot, so you're not just sitting there kicking it and flooding it. This is a great bike for, well, here, let's see. So I'm 5'3", and I'm flat footing it with my knees bent a little bit. This is the R version, not the RB. This bike is 187 pounds, but I mean, it's not anywhere near a real heavy bike. Anyone, I'd say under the height of 4'10", is gonna have trouble touching the ground, unless if you're like fat and you compress the suspension. This bike is good for beginners who want to learn what a clutch. I learned the clutch for one day on a 400EX quad, and I got on this thing, and it was like nothing. First time, you just gotta give a little bit of gas and bike is great for hole shots. This thing gets out of the starting gate like a bullet out of a gun. The newer ones have a throttle position sensor in the carburetor, which makes it kind of like fuel injection, but this is just your standard normal 34mm carburetor, I want to say. I don't know, you can check it out on Honda's website. But this exhaust looks like an exhaust right off of a 250, honestly. It's gigantic. You don't really need an upgraded exhaust, because this exhaust is loud enough, easily. Silver wheels, silver spokes, silver spoke nipples, silver hubs. Pretty much like every Honda. Inverted forks. What else, really? You got your fuel, or your petcock, whatever you want to call it. You got your choke. You got your idle screw. Usually my bike takes about 15 seconds of choke, and then you just push it back in, and it'll idle perfectly fine. Yeah, I don't really know what else to say. I didn't write anything down, it's not scripted, so. Yeah. And the maintenance on this bike. This bike, it's not as heavy maintained as a lot of people think. I've probably put about, well, let's see, I just put on 175 miles on a trail ride. I say trail ride, but it was a pretty extreme trail ride. And I haven't checked the valves. I haven't, pulled off the top end. I've never pulled off the top end on this bike, never checked the valves. The only things major I've done to it are spark plugs, Oil changes pretty much once. I used to change the oil about once a year, but I change it about twice a year now, and it's fine. Change the transmission oil every 2 years, really, because it doesn't need to be changed that much. And the bike literally runs like brand new. The bike is in pretty much brand new condition. Besides, a few minor scratches, whatever, where I laid it down. Yeah, I mean, I'd say I've put about a little over 1,000 miles on the bike, which equates to probably about almost 200 hours on the bike, and I've never done any major maintenance. So this bike is 10 years old, and I think it's just time for it to go, but the steering head bearing makes the bike pretty hard to steer. I know you might be saying that's all on the kickstand. No. When you're riding on track or trail, it just won't turn. So you have to juggle the steering while you're riding to free it up. It's not the ground catching the knobby. That's kind of how it is. So I gotta pull all of this off and change them. And the bearings are in here somewhere. 2008 model. This bike is really a wonderful bike. It's my favorite bike I've ever owned, and I've been riding for about 10 years. I've had a whole mess of bikes. Why am I saying a whole mess of bikes? No, I've only had 3 bikes. 2 Yamahas and Honda. And I love Yamaha, but this Honda is great. This will outperform any 60cc 2-stroke 65s, 80s, 85s, 100s. Even I think a KTM 105 will lose to this thing. And this is only the R. I don't know why, but a lot of people say that the RB is a lot different. It's got a different cam and carbon stuff, but this bike is plenty fast. Now it can be forgiving. It's not as aggressive as, say, my brother's KX250 F 4-stroke. But this bike can be very aggressive, depending on stock. It's kind of both. You can either have it be forgiving or have it be very aggressive. I'd say it's more towards the aggressive side, but the bike's not gonna fucking kill you if you drop the clutch. I mean, you can make it aggressive by messing with suspension and the clutches and the brakes and putting on a big bore or something, but that's really unnecessary. This bike is stupid fast stock. I think that's about it, really. The bike does have rubber braided brake lines. I can't speak. Which, I mean, steel would be nicer, but, I don't really know what else to say. Oh, that's a CDI box. But I don't know. This is an 08. I got this bike for under $2,000. I really wouldn't pay more than $2,000, I'd say, for a CRF150R. That's under a 2010, unless if it's brand new. I mean, there's some exceptions about 2009 and 2010s, but For the majority of stock CRF150R, is gonna be under $2 grand, unless it's like a 2011 and up. But I don't really see the difference. You don't really need, you know, a newer model. This bike is literally unchanged besides the carburetor and the graphics. And the seat. The seat is all red from 2009 and up. But like, I don't know, I kind of like the black seat on there. But really all you're doing with buying a newer one is just getting a hefty price tag. 2018 and upwards though, I can see why, because it's nicer graphics. You know, but it's not a majority changed bike. It's not like a 254 stroke from say 2007 to 2018. You know. Oh, one thing to mention. This bike has a steel frame. It's not aluminum, it's steel. Which aluminum would be a lot you know, lighter. Well, it wouldn't be a lot lighter, but it'd be lighter. But it makes the bike more stiff, and I kind of like a little bit of the flexibility of the bike. But it's not like the frame is flexing and all, but it's just not as rigid. Yeah, it's a almost 20-minute video. It's quite a lot. But yeah, I'm hoping to get a GoPro and make moto vlogs. But yeah, that's all for now, and see you later.